All right, everyone, welcome back. Um, I'm cutting in here. I got my AR-15 right here. This is my setup here. I like the Babolat um, bag a lot. It makes transporting this thing a lot easier. This is how I have it set up here in my front seat. Of course, it's buckled in here so it doesn't fly off when I stop. I also like this computer. I got to have a computer with me at all times. Um, and Basically, when I'm in the car, I charge up my computer. But I'm headed off to the range, and got my 22 in here, my AR-15 pistol, 7.5-inch barrel with the HoloSun red dot scope or optical, whatever. It's not really a scope. Anyways, I'm gonna head to the range. But this is how I have set up in my car, and as far as everyday carry, I think this works. The bag works, the Babolat bag. Here you go, Babolat bag. I walked around it. I've been to some shopping centers. I've been to places. I'm in Houston now, so this is Houston. Of course, I'm licensed to carry and conceal, so it's not a big deal in Houston anyway. Um, so far, I think it's a great bag, especially the way I have it set up. People have asked me about tennis, and it's not hard to talk about tennis. It's kind of different when you have a violin case and you don't play violin. You don't know anything about violin. You don't even know anything about music. And someone comes up to you and say, "Hey, what kind of violin do you have?" Um, I wouldn't. My common answer would be, "I'm a beginner. I don't know." You know. But as far as tennis goes, picking up a brand name wallet, I mean, not a brand name wallet, a brand name racket, a tennis racket, and if you play tennis, even if you're not very good, because there's a lot of people who play golf, who play basketball, who play football, who play tennis, and most of them aren't very good. It doesn't mean that you don't know anything about tennis, you don't know anything about baseball, you don't know. There's a lot of people who can't play any sport, but they know a lot about the sport. And so, you know, uh, just an example, look at all the people who talk about football, and I mean, literally, right away that these people cannot play football, right? You go to a bar, you go to a sports bar, and you look at like 90% of the people in the sports bar probably can't even play football. Um, well, they could play football, but they can't. Um, are they really playing football for money for a profession? No, but they play for fun. So same thing with the racket, the tennis racket. I have played before. Um, so it's not like rocket science. You can talk about playing, you can talk about, what it's like, and you can always say you're just a beginner and you're just starting. But mainly what I tell people is I'm just trying to get into shape. Um, Whenever I have a chance, I play tennis. I always have it with me. That way, I can just drive to the tennis court, and there's not really much to talk about after that. Then you can just start, you know, just discussing things, whatever you want. But as far as people asking me about, you know, they often ask me where I play tennis. That's kind of more or less. They automatically assume this is a tennis racket in here, which there is. And then they ask me like, where do I play? How long I've been playing? I haven't had anybody ask me what kind of tennis racket I use, but if they do, I'll just tell them, well, I'm just a beginner and I just got you know, a brand name, brand store, Wilson tennis racket. So, anyways, it works. It's great, and it doesn't alarm people. So, anyways, let me head off to the range now and do some shooting because that's where I'm really going. and um, I'll cut in when I get there. Right, everyone, I'm back in, and I've already adjusted the reticle firearms. Remember, this is all dry, so one of the problems I had, I was shooting it dry, and about 20 rounds into it, I was having feeding issues, I was having loading issues. The bolt carrier would not go in all the way. I had to pull the mag out, pull the charging handle, and try to get it to go in, and it wouldn't go in. So I dipped into my starter kit, got an oil out, and used the knife here to just make that small little cut right there. Laid it right here and made a small little cut with the knife. And I barely used any oil. There's actually still a lot left. But I'm going to go ahead and just use that today. Grease all this, lube all this up. But it makes a big difference. You can see a little shine in there. And then it's spilled over onto the magazine. But you can see the magazine is a little dirty now, a little oily. And so just a little bit of oil made a huge difference, and now it's feeding in right. I've got the HoloSun, I got the HoloSun in where I want it to, at least. And so let me shoot it and I'll cut back in. Also, I forgot. Yeah, put a lot of stuff in here. My 22's right there, but I've got a pen, I got a marker, and I added a little pin, but the marker is so I can mark this. So let me get it all ready and I'll cut back in. This is 15 yards, and I only see 9. I must have missed one on the sides or down here, but the dot is aiming for right up here and shooting down here because of, if you know anything about the aim of impact and aim of sight, I guess. Anyways, a little pulling to the left, that's probably me, but I'll try this one and I'll give you a reference of how far back it is. Only 15 yards. So let's see how it goes. It's only 15 yards. What is that, like 35 feet or something like that? But after all, this is just a pistol. So let me cut out and I'll cut back in. I don't have my my holding thing for the camera or tripod, so let me cut out. Right, I made my 10 shots. Did have a feeding issue. I guess I just have to lubricate a little bit more and break it in a little bit more. But let's see what I got going on here. I did a much better job on this here. Let's see. I think I might have missed one. Let me see. 1, 2. Actually hit a bullseye here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Alright. Let me cut out the gun and cut back later. Alright, I'm coming back, and I'm having some issues. I don't know what it is, but they are firing, but the bolt is not cycling. The bolt is not cycling through. It's firing, and then it stays right there. It stays locked. I don't know if there's something wrong with the bolt carrier. There might be something, because I noticed that part right there doesn't move like my other bolt carrier, so I'll just have to see what happens. Right now I'm playing with my my 22, and I guess I'm gonna have fun with that. So let me cut in and cut and I'll be right back. Alright, hello everyone, come back in here. So I shot at the range and got some really good shooting time. I had a bucket with 300 rounds. I used most of it up. I want to go back again for, well, to do more shooting, comparing. Anyways, let me take the gun out, but so far this bag works awesome. I should get into making gun bags. Anyways, I also took the Walther P22. Make another video on that one. So, anyways, let's take it out and I'll tell you my experience with it. I use a lot of just 4x8 white paper like this, and in my bag I have a blue ink and a red ink. This is a marker and this is a pen. Always handy to have those. Should jam it in here in my sock. And then I got my 2 screwdrivers, flat and Phillips, water bottle. So I only got 1 paper left. Anyways, I took my marker, made a little mark in the bottom portion of it, because where I hang it up is on the, on the sides. So, and I just go to Target. Just put that right there. So here's my tennis racket right here. And let me see what else I had to pull out. I had to use this because I had to get the tool out. Tell you all about that. So I'm just gonna pull out the flashlight. Alright. So there it is. It's right there. Let's just move this out of the way. And then you're seeing it. With the little tennis ball. So that's how it sits. It sits actually like this. So this is up against the tennis racket, and this ball keeps it in, and I lean it out. Because what I found is when I have it charged, it's already charged. No. Something went in. Nope. Okay. I had to do something on the way home. Alright, so there's nothing in there. That's great. Alright. So I like to keep it charged because even though it's on safety, if you switch it to fire, you still can't shoot it. And you take the pin out. If you try to take the pin out, let me see if I can do this. It won't open. It won't open up. So is that good or bad? I don't know. But anyways, I like to keep a 10 round. This one was an interesting story at the range, and then I close it because that tells me it's charged and ready, I guess. I just don't want stuff going in there. So I shoot it. I finally use the red dot. I've been waiting for a day to use it, and today was that day. And let's see if it's a red dot. Is you can see the red dot. I'm not sure if you can see the red dot. I don't know if white helps or black helps. Well, I see, there it is. Maybe on the black you can kind of see it a little bit better. There it is. I see it right there, this little red dot right there. There it is. So anyways, I guess I've been using this at night and during the day. I've been testing it out, looking through it, see how it looks out the outside, from inside, and from inside to outside. I didn't try to look at it from outside to inside because if you're outside, I guess you won't be able to see it unless you turn it up. So, but I got the setting set up for you could possibly see it inside or outside. It's bright enough to see outside as a very small dot, but not so big enough when you go inside that it kind of starts to star, gets a little star effect. But for the most part, you don't see it if you look through both eyes. And as far as this type of scope or this type of optic, I like it for a pistol. On this pistol anyway, I like it a lot. So let me see what kind of problems I had with it, which is really strange and interesting, but who knows. Alright, so I got the optics set up. I didn't play with the elevation, I just did the windage. That was about it. I just wanted to line up straight. And for the most part, the way I aimed it was have to be about 6 to 8 inches above the target to have it hit where I want to hit. So anyways, that's just from a 15 yard, and I was okay with that because I'll just make the adjustment for it. But I guess you could aim it anyway. So the optic works great. The gun does work. Here's the thing I had, or the problem I had with it, was sometimes it wouldn't close all the way. And I'll try to explain it. And so, right in here, it sometimes didn't close all the way. And I was thinking that's really strange. When I first fired a few, it seemed rough, and that's because I didn't put any oil in it. I just took it out dry and started shooting, and it sounded like it was really rubbing. So it did sound like it. Let me see here. So right about there, it would close like this much. It wouldn't close all the way. I could see that part. It just like, it would only close this far and would stop. Or sometimes it would, you just know, because it left a little small little gap. Instead of being closed, it left a little gap. And I couldn't figure out why, exactly what it was. But anyways, finally it's the gas tube, because that thing's in the way. But if you see down there, you might see that little tube sticking out. Well, when I looked in there, it was gone. And so what happened was, this piece right there, there's another piece in there, but it got loose. And so, anyways, it was knocking this thing up forward, and this thing vibrates quite a bit. Even my my HoloSun seemed to vibrate it as well. Anyways, I don't know if that's just natural or if they really do back out. I was surprised. It was really strange. Anyways, at first I thought it was the bolt, because I ran it dry and it felt really felt like it was really rubbing. So I figured maybe I needed to lube the bolt, so I lubed it, and still didn't help. Anyways, it came to one point where I would charge and then release, and I have one in the chamber in there, and then I know that would close, and then I would fire, but it wouldn't fire. Let me see. So I would do this, and it would fire the first one, but it wouldn't eject. It was stuck like this. And when I pulled it, and there was a spent casing in there, it didn't even come out. And it did that every time. So I was thinking it was something with the gas block, but wasn't too sure. Anyways, it wasn't fun shooting, because I didn't get to shoot. But anyways, I finally did have it go, and did tighten it down, but it was kind of weird how they just backed out. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see if they back out or not next time, or this time. So that was my experience with it. Did take it apart because I couldn't understand why it was not feeding right. I was looking at it and I just kept pulling it out and just, at first I thought it might have been something wrong with the bolt, because I thought it might have been a little dry because I didn't oil it. I thought it was dry right here, and that's why it jammed up. I was like, anyways. Went through a lot of that kind of stuff, looking at it inside and everything, but apparently the screws back out. Anyways, but eventually, once it was done, I got it. It worked. The gun itself is pretty good. Does shoot. It shoots at the range that I shot at, which is only 15, but kind of this is what I go for this whole thing, and I think that's good enough for a pistol. The rounds, which were not these, but the brass ones. Another thing I thought it might have been was the magazine, because it would hit but not go in, and so I was like, oh, fuck it. Anyways, but I don't think it was a magazine. But this is the only thing I brought. I only brought the 10 round. That's all I wanted to shoot. It slams in pretty good. So basically it didn't get enough gas pressure to pull back and then push. Only enough to kind of just push it, but it would stop somewhere right here, real short. And I was like, okay. It's probably was a gas. Anyways. If that's what it was, then that's what it was. It doesn't really matter, because it works now, and it's a little lubricated too. Had to do it, and I didn't use a lot of oil. Those little packs, they actually last a long time. You could probably put on another gun. So, my experience so far is that other than those loose screws coming out, which caused quite a bit of problem for me, but at the same time, it did help me understand that sometimes you need to lock or check the screws on these, and even this came loose. The screws on the bottoms came loose, amazingly. But overall, I'm happy with the optic. It works if you could get them down tight enough. It's gonna jiggle, but it won't jiggle on top of this. So, anyways, I'm gonna cover it back up. Anyways, overall, I like it. I like this setup. It's just so easy and so small that you literally can't take it. Anywhere. The only thing is when the bolt is in, it's really sometimes doesn't really seat in there. That's the other thing I noticed. You really have to give that extra push up. Let me see, pulling it. Yeah, one's in there. At first I thought something was wrong with the bolt, and there might have been something wrong with the way it's ejecting, because all sorts of weird things starts happening, and it's like it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't pull at one point, or I thought it wouldn't pull, and then really just blew the bullet out and left the casing there, and then when I was pulling it, I thought, that's really strange, it didn't blow back. But now I know why. It's didn't have enough gas to blow it back. Anyways, alright, so I shot this for the first time. I like it. I like it a lot, especially when you get it to work. Pulling this all the way to the end really helps. Your cheek gets caught up on it. But the only thing I don't like about it is when you have your headphones on, or not headphone, ear protection on, and this slaps against right at the back of your, I guess, cheek, and it gets pinched, you know, right where the ear muffs and this part just pinches a little bit, but oh well. And then what else? Gosh, I spent a lot of time there just shooting this, trying to get a feel for it. It does feel like it kicks back a lot more. It's just weird. It just feels like when you shoot it, a lot more air is just pushing, because even with this thing up in the front here, I don't know what it's called, it's supposed to help blow it down, but you do end up pushed back. Seems a little bit more. I don't know why. Maybe it's shorter, but the 10.5 inch, I don't recall feeling that way. It feels more subdued. So I mean, maybe that's why rifles feel a lot better, 16 inch or something like that. So, but this is really short, really short, and I did feel a kick to it. It's not a handgun kick, it's a rifle kind of kick. A short little barreled rifle. So, anyways, that's it for me on this one. This should conclude this episode. Overall, I like it. I think if I have to tighten down these screws myself, um, even even here, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll tighten those down or take my tools with me. That's the other thing. I guess it helps to take some tools. So I think that is almost the same as that. So let's see if I had the tool to begin with to do all this. I probably did, just never came to mind. Nah, this is too small. This fits just for this. Yeah, that fits just for that. I wonder if I already stripped it. Nah, it's just... Sometimes it was hard to get in there, but anyways, had to get that, and then what else? Other than that, I'm very happy with it. Despite those things getting loose and causing a hiccup, I liked shooting it a lot. I'm gonna go back, and the next time I go back, I'm gonna bring my other gun as well, and I'll bring that one, and anyways, I guess that's it. Next time I go, I'm gonna take my 10.5 inch and then compare it. This seems to, the shorter one feels like it kicks back harder. Maybe it's my imagination, but I'll bring the other one as well with all the stuff on it. I just want to compare the feel between a longer barrel and then maybe when I actually get a rifle, compare it to like a rifle and feel the difference. Because it seems weird. It seems like this one blows harder. I don't know. But it does shoot good. I had fun with it. And this pack actually did come in handy. I used one oil. So, anyways, that concludes this episode. So,